to the pack, I might be kicked out of my house. You just never know. Rebecca is with the Arrow Fund, and we were talking about some pretty heinous cases we've mentioned before, but there's something that's ongoing in the state that we really need to talk about, and that is the fact that animals are being abused, neglected, and tortured, and people who are on our side are out there finding them and bringing them in, but not every animal can be accepted by the Arrow Fund, heartbreakingly.
Correct, yeah. There's a lot of resources out there, but if you can lend a hand to a neighbor who just won't take their animal in these frigid temperatures that we've had, provide them water, offer them straw. Sometimes they won't accept it. Sometimes you have to call the authorities.
Yeah.
But do what you can to be the kind person out there. If that doesn't work, do not turn your head. It's amazing what these animals are having to endure in these frigid temperatures, and then the heat, being chained is not a life.
No, it's not. And what is the criteria for acceptance into Arrow Fund treatment?
Well, again, right now we have 34 active cases or that we are responsible for now, and so many of them are the financial. Every case is very expensive.
Yes.
Let's just say. So we do from beginning to end until they are medically cleared as good as they can get to go into a home. Right now we are responsible for 34, and the bills on each were very, very high.
Phenomenal.
So, and I have to say, I'm sorry to say, our donations are way down after the first of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, with Christmas, with all that, but way down. And so we don't, if your donation comes from the heart, I don't care if it's $1 or, let's just give us some property so we can build our compound.
Wow.
Whatever, or our facility that we want so desperately. Whatever it is, if it comes from the heart, we are eternally grateful. I had a little child come up to me doing a school function. She was so proud. You know those little brown lunch bags?
Yes.
The little bitty ones. She had 22 pennies in it for me. Nothing will top that. That's just as important.
It's so precious.
As a huge check to
Absolutely.
us, because it's also from the heart.
Although huge checks are appreciated.
Huge checks are great. Don't get me wrong.
Talk about what we need to know about the Humane Lobby Day legislation, Catherine. I want some details on Senate Bill 14. What is actually contained in it now, and what do you hope to have contained in it by the time we finish lobbying?
Well, I think right now we have a provision that's been added to the present law because it is a Class D felony right now to fight dogs. The problem is, of course, as I said earlier, is that you have to catch them in the act. So there is a big loophole, and we're the only state that doesn't have a provision that applies also for possession of animals. So this language would be added to the bill, would be new. Any person who knowingly owns, possesses, keeps, breeds, trains, sells, or otherwise transfers a dog for the purpose of that animal or its offspring being used to fight for pleasure or profit is guilty of cruelty to animals in the first degree. So that is the language that's in the bill right now. We want to see it pass, be called up for a committee vote, and then go to the floor for a vote, and then go over to the House. Right now it's in the Senate Bill 14. There is, of course, we are grateful that there are a number of other animal-related bills that are going to come up also for the legislature. One, of course, is animals in hot cars. There's a Good Samaritan rule that if you follow the procedure set forth in the bill when it becomes law, then you'd have a level of immunity for retrieving those animals. Another one is the breed-specific legislation bill, which would allow local governments to pass laws regarding animals, but only if they do not indicate a breed. So all of those pit bulls, for example, or other kinds of dogs that are deemed somebody somewhere deems vicious, would actually be protected. So they're not going to be, you're going to move into an area, have your family member that's a pit bull, and somebody comes knocking on your door and they say, oh, in our city you cannot have pit bulls, we're going to take your dog away. This would at least prevent that from happening. There are a few others, but those are some of the really big ones that we'd like to see passed in the General Assembly this session.
Okay, well, I'm looking at pages here, and I'm fascinated by this letter from the Kentucky Houndsman Association, and I'm assuming that these are the people who fox hunt. Is this true?
Well, yes. They also coon hunt.
Coon hunt. Yeah, they hunt.
They hunt.
And coyote.
And they use
Let's just say they
their
hunt.
hounds to chase animals, sometimes up into a tree, and then they corner them and they'll shoot them out of the tree.
Wow. That sounds like a fun Saturday. So here's what I'm seeing on this letter. They want the animal rights extremists, which is the phrase that's used, to stop saying that we have the worst statutory provisions with respect to the protection of animals from animal cruelty, which is absolutely true. We do
Yes.
have the worst possible statutory provisions. And then he says that he's kind of, I think, lumping these all in with other kinds of protections, which is pretty funny. He's talking about anti-ivory poaching laws against clubbing baby seals, dolphin and turtle protections. I have no idea what any of that has to do with this particular issue, which is keeping animals from being killed in dog fighting. And what we're trying to figure out here is, how are these people affected by this legislation?
They aren't.
Okay.
The present law and any of the changes in the bill will allow them to continue doing the kind of hunting that they do. As long as it's legal hunting, they may continue. So this is not an anti-hunting bill. It will not affect them one bit, as I said earlier, unless they're fighting dogs. That would be the only thing. So a lot of times you find the opposition groups that go against bills, if they can't really argue against the message, they will start arguing against the messenger.
That's right.
And that's where we're always getting the pushback. But you have to keep on someone, say, tell us exactly why you oppose this bill.
Yeah.
We have not received any information that says exactly why they oppose the bill. They just keep saying something generally about it's bad for hunters and farmers. As you can see from the bill, it does not affect hunters and farmers in any way.
And this bill has nothing to do with hunting. It just doesn't. It's very clear cut what it is for. And I just want to say, I mean, I'm not going to go out on a limb here and say, so I don't want someone to come to me and say the Arrow Fund's against hunting. I'm not taking that stance. We are not taking that stance. If you are within the law, whatever. But there's ethical hunting. You know, I'm not taking any type of stance here against any type of hunting. I'm simply here for this bill, which has nothing to do with hunting. This bill is a this will help law enforcement to stop the heinous crime of dogfighting.
And I talk to prosecutors periodically, and they talk about, even generally, about our laws being so poor that they often have to plea bargain rather than going to trial because they're so concerned about what will happen. So we do have a long way to go, and it's law enforcement as well. I will have to sit and talk to law enforcement, walk them through the statutes, the cruelty statutes, and see if they can find some way to execute a warrant or to take an animal. It's a difficult process for them, and this will actually allow them to have some additional tools in which to go after people that are breaking the law in our state.
Okay, you mentioned farmers. How does this affect farmers?
It does not affect farmers in any way.
So the houndsmen and the farmers totally oppose the legislation, but it doesn't affect them in any way.
We can't say all farmers. I mean, they're stating that farmers, this is not good, but there are farmers out there that I know farmers. I know many farmers. Farmers, as a general rule, are not against this bill.
These are the extremist farmers.
We just know
we just know what the
animal rights.
We just know what the houndsmen are telling them.
Right.
But I mean, I know that there's a lot of good people out there that farm in our state that do not think it's okay to fight animals. It's for a blood sport. Yeah. So I just
agree.
really, really want everyone to understand that there are excellent farmers out there. You know, and you know,
even HSUS, we would like to see what Farm Bureau would have to say on this. That's why we want to sit down with them. That's why other organizations want to sit down with them as well.
Who's the president of Kentucky Farm Bureau?
His name is Mark Haney.
Okay, Mark, we're inviting you to a sit down right now, and we would love you to talk to Rebecca Eaves and Catherine Callahan and see if we can find some sort of common ground on this matter of dog fighting, because it's really important that all the parties are in the same place and on the same page, especially as we approach Humane Lobby Day a week from today in the capital at Frankfurt.
Said I could be your baby. Said even when I act like a fool. Well, I long to be your lover. Lord knows I can do it like no other. Well, I long to be your man. Even though my wallet ain't fat. Said I got something they ain't got, baby. It's just a matter of fact. That girl, don't you know that I got the goods? You got the goods. Take to me like your doctor said you should. Doctor said you should. When you get the Jones deep in your bones, I'll be looking at you while you're looking for me. Could be your pirate. Girl, as long as I can steal your booty. Well, I don't want to be your pimp daddy. 'Cause I don't roll me no caddy. I said, how you doing then, sugar? Could you be me amore? Oh, my love. What you need is what I got, girl. Oh, baby, just give it a shot. 'Cause, girl, don't you know that I got the goods? You got the goods. Take to me like your doctor said you should. Doctor said you should. When you get the Jones deep in your bones, I'll be looking at you while you're looking for me. How she was doing, and she said, woo!
Oh, I'm so sick of my man. Tell me what you got.
And I said, girl, I got no diamond rings, no fancy things, but I got some more, baby, that'll just tip the spot. Oh, you know I got the goods.
Oh, you got the goods.
Yeah, yeah, you know I got the goods.
Oh, you got the goods.
Take to me like a doctor said you should. I got the good, good baby. Hey, I got the good. I got the good.
You got the goods, Travis Boland. We've got the goods for you here on Crescent Hill Radio, which is WCHQ 100.9 FM. We have only local and regional musicians, and we also have local and regional talent in the interests of Wagon Wednesdays. Today we have with us Rebecca Eaves and the beautiful and talented and lovely and adorable and cuddly Foxtrot, who was born without front legs and who has managed to get all around the studio with no problem on her little pink blanket by almost bunny hopping, but that's going to be remedied by the custom-made cart that should be arriving soon.
Yes. Yeah, it started. They started construction on it today in Colorado.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
she
amazing.
was. We actually had to put her in cast a mold of her body. I mean, she was sitting there, and it was kind of pathetic. It was kind of sad.
Now, who did the casting?
Blue Pearl.
Oh wow,
Dr. Ruth Smidgen.
Isn't that
who
cool?
is Dr. Ruth is fantastic.
That's Dr. Ruth.
Dr. Ruth.
Wasn't
That's
there
what
a Dr.
a lot
Ruth
of people can't.
Back on TV days,
A lot of
Wasn't
people
she a
can't
little
pronounce
tiny
her name, so she
person?
goes by Dr. Ruth. But
Yeah.
Dr. Ruth Smidgen,
Smidgen.
and she is fantastic.
I like that. So this dog is going to be fostered for a while because she has some specific medical needs, being a two-legged puppy who keeps looking up at her mommy, Rebecca, who is co-parenting, we want to say.
Fostering.
co-fostering with another pair of fosters.
Yes, Cheryl
And Rick.
and Rick, and they've done quite a bit of fostering for us. We need foster homes.
I was just going to
desperately.
say, you need so many more because you have to turn away
We're
animals.
turning away animals right
Yeah.
now. I mean, and it's breaking our hearts.
It is.
It's breaking our hearts.
Why were you up all night last night? Another animal?
Well, this is not the most peaceful type of organization.
No.
A lot of people say, "How do you do it?" And
Well, I say that
we
all the
do
time.
it. We do it, but it does affect you. And I'm very passionate about Senate Bill 14 going through and some of the other laws. The dogfighting bill. I'm very passionate about that. Frodo lives in my home, and he's my baby boy who is an Aerofund baby, and he was tortured, and he's one of the lucky ones, and he was tortured beyond belief, and I don't want that to happen to another animal.
Right.
And I don't want someone else's animal, your personal animal, to be stolen, to be thrown in the middle of fighting dogs. It's just needless torture.
It is.
And there's very bad people that do dog fighting. Why this isn't a no-brainer law to go through, I'm sure hoping this year is the year for it. This is the third year that we've been to Frankfurt fighting for it. Senate Bill 14.
She very cagely avoided the question, why were you up all night last night? Well, because it's normal for
Stress,
you.
headache.
Yeah, and it's normal for you to be up.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
you're
but
called at
I'm
all
okay.
hours of the day
I'm
and
okay.
night to go get animals.
Well, we do, yes. I mean, I get texts throughout the night. I
Yep.
get texts first thing in the morning, messaged. A lot of people, I mean, there's a lot of animals out there that are in need. And we need, if you want to volunteer, please volunteer for the
Yep.
Aerofund.
Yep.
There's all kinds of things we need, you know.
Social media being one of the most easy things that you can do. Tweet, put it on
Absolutely.
Instagram, put it on Facebook, do whatever you can to get the word out. You can go and get the Aerofund's logo off of Facebook, and you can just pass that around because making people aware
Yes.
of its
Share,
existence is
ask
helpful.
people to like the Aerofund on Facebook. Right now, I'm asking every single person that has a pencil a pen to take it out. Write down this number, 1-800-372-7181. Simply call, that's the legislative hotline. Ask for your legislators, your Senate leader in your area. If you do not know them, ask the lovely people on the end of the line. They'll ask you your name and address, and they will give you who your representatives are. Kindly ask them to vote yes and pass Senate Bill 14. That's what you can do, and everyone across the state. Especially share that information to people all over the state. We don't just want to saturate them from Jefferson County. We want the people all over the state to call that number, 1-800-372-7181. Anytime you have an issue, take it up and talk to your representative. I do want to stress being respectful. That's very important
sure.
to us. Yes,
Absolutely.
because there's so many up there that are wonderful. But we're very adamant. We want Senate Bill 14 passed.
And we know legislators have a hard job.
They do.
You know, they do have a very hard job.
So many people
it's
get
considered
mad at
only
them.
part-time, but yet, you know, they do get burned a lot
Yeah.
by people's negative comments. So I my hat's off to a lot of them.
Well, and it's difficult for a lot of legislators to go into the job of representative or senator having had no experience. A lot of the citizen legislators, and they may have a little bit of knowledge, but they don't have a lot, and they have to kind of learn when they hit the ground running. The process of creating a piece of legislation is not simple, and oftentimes, it takes a whole lot of time to get something to the place. And you just said 3 sessions. This legislation has been crafted, moved, probably tabled, probably, voted on, but hasn't made it through the end of the session. So it's no guarantee that because something is introduced that it's going to pass.
Usually it may take somewhere between 3 and 5 years to get a bill passed. Sometimes it takes longer. I know there was one bill that I was sitting in a committee hearing about, and it had been over a decade to get the bill passed.
Well, see, I find a problem with that. I really do.
Yes.
I find a problem with that too,
Meet more
especially
frequently.
when it's something that is just I call them no-brainers.
Yeah.
Really.
I say convene a little bit more frequently. Weather forecast for the next few nights, 17 our overnight low tonight, and then things will warm up a little bit. 29 our overnight low tomorrow night, dropping back to 20 on Friday, 26 on Saturday, 30s on Saturday and Sunday. And the good news is the daytime highs are going to be closer to 40 and then moving up to nearly 50 degrees on Saturday and Sunday. So we'll look forward to that. Here's Bear Medicine. Two Steps. We'll be back on Wagon Wednesday to talk with Rebecca Eaves and Catherine Callahan.
I took 2 steps, looked you straight in the eye, smoked my mind out, but I lost it outside. I took 2 steps, then I fell into the sky. I've got none left, and now I just can't get by. I like you best, but you can't even know what's the difference. It wouldn't work out, I know. It's just 2 steps before you get to the door. It's just 2 steps, then I won't see you no more.
There's Bear Medicine. 2 Steps. I tell you what, it's been an interesting last couple of hours. We've still got 30 minutes left, so I'm not going to kick them out this early. But Rebecca Eaves is with us. She is holding on to, for dear life, this beautiful puppy named Foxtrot because she knows that either Catherine or myself will be fighting her